Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We're in San Jose all week meeting with some of the tech leaders in Silicon Valley. On our program is Shoham, the CTO of Hitachi ID Systems. Idan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. How you doing, Rich?
Fantastic. So what is your area in Hitachi? What do you guys do?
Sure. Well, we're one of the many Hitachi companies, and we make software to manage identities and authentication factors and access, typically medium to large organizations.
And exactly how do your solutions help customers?
Sure. Customers are really motivated by three things, I would say. First of all, they want to lower cost. So to help with that, we can automate things like password resets and reduce help desk calls. And we can automate processes like onboarding and deactivation, which reduces administration effort. Customers also want to have security and comply with all kinds of regulations, so we can enforce strong passwords, appropriate security rights, and control access to privileged accounts.
So, okay, we're talking about cost savings from IT, so minimizing IT staff, not having to bloat your IT staff to deal with people who forget their passwords, and then compliance was the other big
compliance and
issue.
security. Yeah.
Like HIPAA and things like that come to mind.
Yeah, HIPAA, SOX, GLB, PCI, FERPA. It seems like in every jurisdiction there's a dozen or more regulations. Hopefully they're mutually compatible, sometimes they're not. But in an IT security sense, they all come down to control over identifying people, authenticating them, and limiting what they can and cannot access, and that's where we fit in.
And how does your technology interface with the software underneath?
Right, so our products ship with a whole bunch of connectors, more than 100 connectors, and that allows our customers to manage access to Windows, mainframes, Unix machines, databases, and so forth. It's all about connectors.
So basically, they work with you and they don't have to deal with the individual systems below, right? That's kind of the...
Yeah, that's right. So in a traditional environment, security is managed inside the silo of each system and application. So you go to one process to create and delete a user, let's say in Windows, and a completely different program and business process and screen and people to do the exact same thing on SAP or on RACF on the mainframe. And what we try to do is create a shared infrastructure so that you go to one place and you say, I hired somebody. And automatically they get an Active Directory account, Exchange mailbox, mainframe login, whatever it might be.
So moves, adds, and changes and things like that are minimized as well.
Right.
Works with the phone systems also?
It can also work with physical access, so building access badges. And we can also provision stuff, like a BlackBerry or a smart card or a token, things like that.
So I think of Fortune 10,000, something like that, Fortune 15,000, is that the right audience?
I'd say Global 2000 and their public sector equivalents. So our customers average about 10 or 11,000 internal users. In the corporate space and in government, those are employees and contractors. In a higher ed space, those would be faculty, staff, students. So the kind of user, the role they have in relation to the company or the organization is varied, but they tend to be medium to large.
So in terms of what companies are doing that are that large that aren't working with you, what do they typically do instead of working with you?
Right, so really there's two alternatives. You could either have manual processes, so for example, a user in a typical company might have 10 or 15 different passwords. Manually, he might change 10 or 15 passwords every 90 days or try to keep them the same, or it's sort of up to the user. And that comes with security and cost issues, sticky notes and high call volumes. Or they might try working with one of our competitors. We don't like that option.
So how do you compare, because I'm sure this comes up, every company has to deal with it, if you've got a potential customer that's thinking about going with Hitachi or maybe a competitor, why would they choose your company?
I think it depends on the product. We actually make three different products: Identity Manager, Password Manager, Privileged Access Manager. In some cases, the advantage is just innovative features. So, for example, we provide password resets and key recovery for mobile users. I don't think anybody else does that. More generally, I think it's just total cost of ownership. So the dominant component of the cost of deploying a system like this is consulting. So it takes a lot of consulting. And our systems typically require a lot less consulting than our competitors, so they're lower cost.
Part of that is because of the connectors that ship with it?
Part of it is the connectors, and other part is built-in features. So, for example, if you need a screen to request access for a contractor, with our solution that's built in.
Okay.
With a competitor, you might have to custom craft that. Or maybe you have a process to approve a change. Again, with our system, the approvals process is general and built in. With a competitor, you might have to handcraft it. Anytime you say handcraft, just think money. You know, plugging coins into the
I think of microbrew. I don't know why.
That would be much more pleasant.
So final question is, what's next?
What's next? Well, we're seeing a lot of growth in the cloud space. So, for example, we're shipping connectors to applications like Google Apps and Microsoft 365 and Salesforce and WebEx. So managing access that users have to cloud or hosted applications, or placing our application in the cloud and reaching back into the perimeter to manage applications and systems there. So that's one trend that we see a lot of. And the other trend is mobility. We think companies are increasingly trying to basically reduce their physical footprints, have less office space, spend less on real estate, buy less cubicles. And mobile users require different kinds of supports than on-premise users. And we've developed a lot of technology to help mobile users get self-service.
That makes a lot of sense. It's really where things are going. So, well, thanks for being on the program. It was great to meet you.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.